everybody, welcome back to the United Star. We have Prasham here today, and we are going to answer the question: is it worth getting Harry Kane to Manchester United? Is it worth blowing 80 to 90% of our transfer budget on Harry Kane this season? Now, Prasham, I'm going to bring you in. Harry Kane is undoubtedly one of the best strikers and possibly the best striker in the world. He is not only a goal scorer, he's not only a goal machine. He makes assists. He develops the play. He is he was so instrumental in Spurs getting seventh place in reaching the finals of the Carabao Cup. Do you think it's worth getting Harry Kane into a team which hasn't really struggled scoring goals, but obviously, I mean, he's Harry Kane.
Rian, I think a little bit of our goal scoring record is so good that it gets swept under the carpet as to how many chances we've missed. Number one. Number two, it is also getting swept under the carpet that we've scored 4 5 goals in many games, but how many 1-all draws have we played out? How many 1-0 losses have we had? How many games we've just sat there and watched and created absolutely nothing? And these are games against teams like Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, West Brom. These are games that have cost us possibly the league. These are games against Villarreal where we've not been able to unlock the defense and have cost us the Europa League final as well, you could argue. So yes, we've scored a lot of goals, but have we scored enough goals? Have we taken enough chances to propel us to the next level? I don't know. I'm not entirely certain about that. The other thing is that if you ask me about my priority of transfers, okay, I'd say it's a CDM, a right wing back, a right winger, and a centre back. Now you tell me that Harry Kane is available. My priority is Harry Kane, a CDM, and that's it. Why? Because he's Harry Kane. You look at any Premier League, apart from this Pep's team, you pick up any Premier League team that has won the league. Look at Leicester, for example. They had N'Golo Kante, he was a great CDM. They had Jamie Vardy, who was a great striker, and they had Riyad Mahrez. They didn't have a great centre back partnership. They didn't have that. They didn't need that, so to speak. Yes, there have been teams that have had great centre back partnerships, but you need a focal point in the attack. We have Edinson Cavani, and that's great. But the problem with Cavani is I don't see him as a 35 games, 38 game player a season. He's an injury prone striker. And Harry Kane is available now. If he goes to a City, if he goes to a Chelsea, then what?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very valid point. If City or Chelsea get Harry Kane, I mean, it's technically over the league because the teams are already very strong. But what my point is here that now United have been touted to have a transfer budget of around 150 million, and although it's supposed to be the net spend, let's not worry about the outgoings right now. Let's just focus on 150 million to sign players. Now, if you have 150 million and Harry Kane is a 120 million player, you're technically going to start with Harry Kane up front and McFred in your midfield the next season. And however good Harry Kane is, I think it doesn't solve too many problems for us. We have a big problem in our midfield where we are playing two people for one position, and we don't have enough creativity in the midfield. We aren't able to boss games in the midfield, and that's where we lose most of our games. What do you do about that?
So, Priyan, what you're saying about 150 million, what I'd say is that if we can spare even 15 million more and have a transfer season where we get Harry Kane for, let's say, 120, let's say we're able to negotiate that to 110, 115, but let's say 120 on the maximum we get Harry Kane, and we're able to do a swap deal for 30 million or 45 million plus Jesse Lingard or 40 million plus Jesse Lingard. Your budget is 150. That's about 10 million more from what we need to get Declan Rice and Harry Kane into this Manchester United team. Now, if you get a Declan Rice into the team, it solves two major problems in my view. It will solve the problem of the midfield. You can play Pogba and Bruno in midfield and Rice as the sitting CDM. You don't need, it's essentially a Matic role that Rice can do, a prime Matic role. And it solves our defensive problem because I personally do not think Lindelof and Maguire are as bad a partnership as they're made out to be.
Yeah.
You saw in that Champions League final that suddenly the best partnership in the Premier League, which was of Stones and Diaz, were looking pedestrian because they had no protection. Each line, the job of each line is to protect the line behind them. The strikers protect the midfield protects the defense protects the keeper. A player like Harry Kane not only adds to the protection he can give you, you've seen how far he drops back to defend, you've seen how far he drops back to take the ball. And then you add Declan Rice to it. So my ideal season is Declan Rice and Harry Kane, and that, in my view, can cost about 160 to 165 million, which is not that far from 150 million figure that we are putting out. I think these two deals, I would be more than happy to go into the next season with these deals.
Right. So, coming to my next point, Harry Kane is a 120 million striker who's 28 now, 27, 28. We've got Cavani to stay on for another season. We'll have Martial fit, hopefully. We have Greenwood who's coming up, and over that we'll have the opportunity to sign Haaland for 75 million next season because that's where his release clause kicks in.
Yeah.
So Haaland is obviously a much younger version of Harry Kane, and he's also a very, very good striker. He's had a fantastic season this season. Do you not think it's a better option to maybe wait out another year and focus on strengthening the other positions right now, and then maybe going for a Haaland next season?
No, so I'd like to take the reverse approach. I'd take Harry Kane this year, and then I might you want to strengthen next the year after. Rice, Kane, and then you send whatever centre back, Sancho, whatever you want to get the year after. I'll tell you two, three reasons for it. The way I look at it is that Harry Kane moves now and never moves again. This is it for him. He easily has another 5 or 6 years in him of football. There's no doubt in my mind. I think I know is prone to injuries, but he does not have sort of career threatening injuries. He's not a player like Wayne Rooney who relies solely on his pace. He doesn't rely on his pace. He's not like Aguero who he has a lot of facets to his game. He has a lot of dimensions to his game. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing with Haaland is I know for a fact. I know I can't say I know for a fact because I don't. But what I know is what I feel, rather, I can say is that Haaland is looking for a segue of a 2 year sprint in a club like United, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, whatever it is, and then move on to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona because that's where he eventually wants to go, or that's how he sees himself eventually. And I think he said that as well openly. So, in normal circumstances, I wouldn't mind that. I'd take it because I think Haaland will bring us closer to win something. But then, when the option is available for to have, forget the age. The age doesn't matter. How many years is that player going to be with us? 2 years of Haaland from 1 year from now, or 4 or 5 years of Kane from today. I'd take the first option for sure because Harry Kane is also a leader. Erling Haaland is not really a leader. He'll do his job. He'll score goals, etc., etc. He's not really a leader. And suddenly, all the United fans have this newfound love for Haaland as soon as Kane has come into the market, and we've forgotten that just 3 months ago we didn't want anything to do with Mino Raiola. So there are also other things that go with the Haaland transfer. Haaland is more like that. He is the diva, and he behaves that way as well in a sense. On the pitch, he has no problems, but off the pitch, he seems like the kind of person who could create a lot of issues. Whereas Harry Kane, I feel, is right there. He's primed. He's hungry to go. He wants to win something. And I keep reminding people, just think about it. You've got Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Harry Kane, Edinson Cavani, and Mason Greenwood. Imagine this team lining up with Harry Maguire also and Declan Rice. Imagine this team lining up. This is what strikes fear. And now this is what I want to ask you. You have 150 million. Which players would you sign then?
You just named this attacking lineup. I have sort of one more issue with this. We've seen Rashford in the last 2 seasons. He's been burnt out by the end of the season. He's been played so much. And what I feel is signing another winger maybe reduces the workload on him. And I feel that is very important because Marcus Rashford is a fantastic player when he's playing well. And when he's not playing well, like we saw in the finals of the Europa League, he completely disappears and he cuts a very frustrating figure in the team. So I feel signing another winger, would be not only reduce the workload on Rashford, but when Rashford does come into the team and when he's starting, he will have much better performances than he does. He obviously gets the goals and he gets the assists, he has the numbers, but it's the performance, it's that taking on the defenders and all that. I remember in the first couple of seasons of Rashford, He used to do it so easily and so casually. He used to just skip past two defenders. But in the game against Villarreal, he just couldn't do it. He was so burnt out. I don't know how many injuries he has, but that's the thing. So I think getting a winger like Jadon Sancho for maybe a 70-80 million would be fantastic, because then we would have another 70-80 million more to spend. We could get in Declan Rice. We could get in another top quality centre back if needed, to partner with Maguire, or to be we need three centre backs for a team. We do
So
need
Priyan,
three
why
centre
don't you
backs.
throw out a name then for a centre back?
I think a centre back to partner Maguire, I think Varane would be perfect for me. I think he's looking to leave Madrid. He's won everything there is to win with Madrid. He's won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. I think he could look to move on, and he's at the right age, I think, for a centre back to come into a team. He has that leadership thing about him, and I really fancied him. He's fantastic for Real Madrid. So I would love to see Varane come in and partner Maguire at the back.
Right. So, Priyan, what I'm hearing from you is that you'd have you'd have Varane, Rice, and Sancho.
Yeah.
So now this is what I keep going back to: is would I rather have Sancho and Varane, or would I just take Harry Kane? I think that's the real sort of sticking point or question. And I think Declan Rice we were taking for granted, but we know that it's not. Maybe that is the one transfer that won't happen
Yeah.
possibly. But so I think it's yeah. I think that's one way to look at it, and I think that's a fairly decent way to look at it. Is that you'd strengthen two positions more if you get Sancho and Varane. But I think that the only player who's guaranteed success right now, and I know no player is guaranteed success, but the only player who's closest to guaranteed success is Harry Kane. Can you imagine Bruno Fernandes playing those overhead passes that he was playing to Martial to Harry Kane? The ball coming from back in Harry Kane. Do you think Harry Kane is going to miss all of them? Like it's such a it's just Bruno Fernandes and Harry Kane playing together will elevate these two to a different level, in my opinion. And what you're saying about Rashford, actually, I think if we get Kane and have Cavani as the second striker, I feel we should give Mason a free run on the right hand side and play him all games as a right winger. He's too young yet. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he's a striker. We shouldn't put him there, etc., etc." Robin van Persie till 26 was playing as a winger and turned out to be one of the best strikers in the world. So there's no reason why Mason can't play one season right now as a right winger. Play Rashford on the left, and Martial can be a replacement for Marcus Rashford on the left.
Yeah.
So I think that it really does work out. I think Lindelof and Maguire are perfectly fine, but I do understand why people are not wanting Harry Kane and they want Sancho, Varane, or any other defender and Declan Rice.
So my last question to you is: Harry Kane comes in, considering he comes to United, what number does he take? 9 is taken, 10 is taken, 11 is taken. What number does he take?
uh, I think he can't take 10, so I think again Martial would be have to dispense to it. I think it'll be a great deal, right? Just give Martial to Spurs and take Harry Kane and get the
Yeah,
number
but
9 vacated as
about that, uh, Martial earns more than Harry Kane does right now on weekly wages.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know if Spurs would be open to taking Martial, but let's see. I think that's all we have for you today, guys. Do like, share, and subscribe the video, and we'll come out with more transfer content in the future. See you in the next one.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our video. If you do like it, please click on the thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell icon to get daily notifications from the United Star. Follow us on Instagram at the.UnitedStar and we will see you soon.